GM, welcome back to the channel. Quick market update here. We have BTC on day one of the new regime, as it were. Bitcoin's at $103,000 today after a sharp sell-off yesterday. Inauguration day, huge amounts of shenanigans price-wise. Bitcoin as high as like 109s all the way back down to 99K, somewhere in that region. We're at 103 right now. So crazy moves, big volatility as to be expected. And I think the fact that people didn't see some immediate kind of crypto nod in the inauguration speech saw some market sell-off, which we'll discuss further in this video. But things to watch today: stock market and ETF flows. Starting with the stocks here. Nancy Pelosi tracker, she's bought 500K in Google call options, same as Nvidia, 1 million in Vista, and 100K in Tempus AI. So we will be watching the stocks today and this week, to be honest with you. There was a public holiday yesterday, so we'll see how things shape up across the SPX and NASDAQ, and obviously how that translates to Bitcoin as well. So going to be interesting to see what happens. That's some decent size for Nancy Pelosi to be putting in some call options. She obviously expects the Trump regime to kick things up a gear, and we'll see if there's follow through with that. Also, Bitcoin ETFs had a day off yesterday as well. So we'll see whether the Trump meme, the Trump in office, that kind of stuff has a follow through effect on ETF flows. And we'll see today's data in tomorrow's print here on Farside, and we'll just see how things pan out. But interesting to see how this week kind of pans out Tuesday through Friday. Then yesterday we had Michael Saylor tweeting this: the company of the 47th president of the United States just bought $47 million in Bitcoin. Apparently he's been seen leaving Mar-a-Lago grinning like a Cheshire cat in the previous week, so maybe he knows of some good news that is pending. But yes, so World Liberty Financial have bought 47 mil worth of BTC as per, you can see the data here. I've just enlarged this slightly. Cow Protocol settlement here, World Liberty Fi buying up wrapped Bitcoins on the Ethereum blockchain. So some big moves have been taken place by Trump and his camp, and this will have obviously second order effects for the market. And I think it's quite a lot of market signaling ongoing, even though people seemingly on Twitter are very bearish right now and seem to be very bipolar. Like the amount of signal to noise ratio on Twitter is pretty poor at this moment in time. But you can see Trump's buying Bitcoins here. Obviously not strategic reserve level stuff, or that kind of announcement hasn't been made as of yet, but maybe this is the signal before the actual news comes out. Of course, he launched his official Trump token, and this was on Sol. So just to mention, this is obviously bullish for Solana, and I think the second order effect here is Trump has given a nod to Sol as the leading layer one. He couldn't have launched his token anywhere else without it going to absolute pot. I think even swapping transactions on ETH over the weekend were like 40, 50 bucks. Like this thing wouldn't have been able to have any momentum if that had occurred on ETH. And the layer two landscape pretty bleak also. So Solana getting the tip of the hat. And I think potentially this seals the Solana ETF talk, and that will occur in the coming weeks, potentially, or coming months, as that starts to get priced in by the markets. If you check out Polymarket, etc., seems to be ticking on up over there. So maybe some words starting to leak at this point. Coinbase also listing Trump token, a meme based on Sol. I think they're going to have to capitulate and start listing a load of stuff here as people, well, the natives are getting very restless with Coinbase. If we actually look at the token on holder scan here, you can see 792,000 people onboarded onto the Solana blockchain to buy the ticker Trump meme coin there. Pretty outstanding stuff. Just for comparison, you can see 200,000 WIF holders. So Trump's eclipsed that within like 3 days of launch. Fartcoin's got 88K holders. So very interesting just to map some of these stats on top of one another. And we also have to mention ETH here as well, because there's two pieces of news. We'll keep it with Trump for now. World Liberty Financial bought an additional 24 mil of ETH. And I think what this signifies is the kind of, one of the last kind of catalysts for ETH in my opinion, which is an ETF with staking. And I think this may be the nod of that. Just reading between the lines here, the fact they've bought a load of Ethereum, 24 million bucks, pretty decent. And I think they'll be cooking something up here. They now hold 188 mils worth of ETH. So ETH plus staking ETF. I would have that on the bingo card, as well as the Sol ETF during this 2025 and new Trump era. The other thing to note was just the Vitalik kind of Ethereum foundation deploying 50,000 ETH into ETH-based DeFi. That, of course, is noteworthy as well, but maybe a video on itself later on. This was from Bleeker. What does he prefer to see? Bitcoin preferably above 98Ks, Sol above 220s, looking for, the previous all-time high of 250 to be closed above, and then we probably have fireworks there and maybe even Fire Dancer to follow. And then Fartcoin, obviously a big pullback after a huge move. Like, it wasn't 60 cents that long ago, and now it went up to like 240 on a spike. Some people getting carried out on that one. It's now down to like, I think 160s this morning. But he's saying big pullback, bounces in the area of 150 to 120 is kind of where he's looking at. So just to get an idea of positioning from one of the best traders on crypto Twitter right now. Then we had this interesting chart posted by ResDegen. Big shout out to him. He posts some really good alpha and detailed analysis on his Twitter feed. So do check him out. I'll show you the actual handle of Res here. So there he is, ResDegen. Monkey looking sad. Pretty funny profile picture. But what he suggests here is money isn't leaving the space, and the white line denotes the stablecoin growth of crypto. And you can see we have periods of stablecoin growth, and then that's mirrored with the kind of pinky red here, which is total 3 market cap charging up alongside it. And then when we have stablecoins kind of go flat for a period, you see a bit of a chop and PVP in the market. Growth, total 3 up, and again consolidation, but maybe we're going to see some more growth here. But he says money isn't leaving the space, it's simply not growing quick enough to satisfy your dopamine addiction and your inefficient risk management and overall overwhelming supply injections. And we think about what occurs every time there's a big leg up. You have this kind of extractive behavior takes place. Think what Bankless did for the AI sector, extracted a load of value, grifts, etc., which pull money out, and that's why we get this choppy period. So I can kind of see why we haven't had sustained up only due to things like this. So that's what he's pointing out. And then final take here is from Altcoin Psycho. So he says, look, negative news has not been the cause of these sell-offs as of late, but the lack of positive news has. So it's kind of like everyone's waiting for major positive catalysts to come out for price to go up. And what he's saying here is this tells him people are actually fearful and with low conviction, which in his opinion is much better than the kind of up-only consensus, because that consensus is rarely right, which is pretty funny to see. And he says, I'd rather take contrarian risk versus consensus risk. So yeah, I think the risk here is people have sold their spot bags, to be honest with you, with the sell-off in early Jan, and now with the current like movements in the market, you can kind of see Bitcoin dominance has really crept up. It's at 58.63 today. And so people are trading based on borrowed convictions. They think the market may go up, but they don't really believe it. And thus, I do think a lot of people have sold out. And he's saying pretty much, to be a contrarian here is to actually just be long, obviously risk manage, but to have some balls on you and just make those bets when it seems that the market isn't really priced for things to go up here. People are expecting a bit of a dump. And I do think the headline risk is actually to the upside at this point in time. So interesting stuff. Just a quick update. Bitcoin's at 102.9s. Nothing major. DXY at 108s. We'll see where we are towards the end of the week. I think it makes more sense to be looking at weekly candles at this point. But we'll see you in the next one. Subscribe if you're new. Peace.